Alright, abusua manumo bibia akwa ba. Yankopon shirawo say wa click say video we so awobehwe. Na wonim why you very lucky to watch this video. This is a full of education. A full of lessons education. Owura your friend no Farouk Al Wahab aye international diplomatic consultant. Na owura we what me say wa drop it full details. There was a uti efa Ghana Burkina Faso relationship. Ibrahim Traoré oba hanom oba ya otimi ekochia the president elect Yera John Dramani Mahama anyhow usi etu niche echia the vice president any the diplomatic security the reasons why run by nyina. In fact, Farouk Al Wahab I drop you the whole details, and this is video for you Amedi Ebrow. Into why you're very lucky to watch this video. Make sure say ube like it, now share, now subscribe to the channel for latest updates. Madiki 2025 there, yeah, mamu videos on what you say. Although audios beba, but enshi dan be brave. Into quick one, me pese me che wo home because a channel do. Esan say we a full education. Iti me pese unsu unya sa education. Ni bi ti me sra say wo ye adwuma kra na wo de biesi honum. Nati anase ude why busy kakra na ude den fatu ba bi se bia bre unya time obeto so ahwe akwaku se wie because this is a full education for you. Mega TV nkwa na ubenya na wati ase ma me fa credit ni ma onua TV omo e na mo boaya yenso yetim enya saa interview we ebie yankopon hira yenko na quick one yenko hese video no emfa embra na ekoba medina kai na ebeto aso e yen platform we so yankopon hira yenhwe video no emfa embra
ha mpuni woni na mene na woni ena mene the international diplomatic consultant Yera Farouk Al Wahab Asia Wahab Muse Obaya Fishapa
Salam
Bibia boko there
Inshallah
Edobadi ase me did say bibia boko
na me tumi bia okay
Edobadi ase ma me fa will start from this very angle na fe yen zoom into it much more better just about last week exactly a week ago and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was sworn in as the president of the Republic of Ghana. But I stand to be corrected, though, but for the first time in the history of our republic, 21 heads of states and a buyer, and about I think almost 24 envoys also came and other foreign diplomats a buyer. What does this say to John Dramani Mahama buying and going forward? What it means to us as Ghanaians?
Okay, Mami Chaoni, a tier 4. Okay, Ghana at 50, we received more head of states and presidents.
Okay.
Because it was Ghana, your biggest ceremony and a historic democratic history, and then as a country, being the first country originating African Union, etc. It's your 50th year anniversary, no? We had quite a number.
Okay.
But inauguration ceremony of an incoming president elected, I think this is the most biggest.
This is the most biggest?
Yes, of course, undoubtedly. Internal, you are right.
All right.
Now, you are asking, sir, why and how?
Yes.
Okay, so that is how it works. On the African continent, Ghana is a part of international community, and for that matter, African continent. And a very important member of the African Union.
Yes.
And it's a country of Africa. Now, you're in president. The news goes on. First and foremost, African Union are aware. So African Union, in most cases, or more platforms or more put you through the African Union platforms. That's diplomatic platform of the African Union.
Okay.
Informing the African Union of Ghana's inauguration ceremony. And the African Union Ankasa ever represented with some presidents.
Okay.
But then of course some of them omutiki excuses.
Yes.
No man the prime minister, man the foreign minister, no man aba. And on the African continent now you have 4 blocks. But there were 6 regions of the African Union.
Okay.
You are the North Africans, and you are the East African community, East African states.
Okay.
And you are the ECOWAS.
Okay.
And you are the SADC, that is the Southern African states.
Oh, okay.
And you are the Central African republics.
Yes.
And Sana, you are the seed region of the Africa, and you are the African Union Diaspora Forum, which is seen as also a region.
I see.
On the African continent.
I see.
Now, African Union meaning the number of countries are so the African Union might have come with about 6 or 7 or 8 delegations, and willingly per the country, willingly per the president in our urban country, the love, the friendship or what might be a Ghana, all the friendship or need the incoming president in the war. So in this case, President Mahama had been a president of the Republic of Ghana before.
Yes.
He has been 6 years president, more or less, and then now coming back, our friends, our government, and our friends, our share, your former president's crown baby.
Yes, Olusegun Obasanjo baby, good luck, Jonathan.
Exactly, Olusegun, any Jonathan, a best friend of.
And I think Jacob Zuma also about.
Yes, so that is the case. In the African Union, they don't call for buy. Central African don't call for buy, and then ECOWAS also represented as ECOWAS bloc, or represented as ECOWAS bloc. Some countries, AB will be chosen by the ECOWAS community. Says some countries we more represented, now more attended Ghana swearing in ceremony.
Okay.
Besides that, your presidents be a ha. Also, the friend of President Mahama. So they decided to come.
Oh, okay.
If even they were not part.
I see.
And the invitation, those ones that comes from the bloc, and those ones that come from the personal invitation of His Excellency President Mahama.
I see.
SADC, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Namibia, Mozambique, Angola, and then Zambia, Lesotho, and then also Swatini, and those countries. Omunina SADC community so MF SADC represent here. But then the president that came, some came as a result and as at the instance of SADC.
Okay.
But some of them also came at the instance of the president-elect himself.
I see.
Central Africa, the same thing.
I see.
Now, the interesting scenario, presidents in a Bayern, some of them did not come because Ghana as a country also would invite.
Yes.
But then when Ghana invites her, up to the receiving countries, so Ombaba and now Onomba. Into blocks, Ayom introduction, the African Union Ayom introduction. The country Ghana would also send invitation.
Okay.
Na ebi baba ebi ma. But generally what I saw and what I've known and what I noticed was that good number of the guys, presidents Ombano, they were presidents, they were friends of the president.
The president. I see.
Elect.
I see.
And some of the invitations, were invitations originated, listen to me once again, by the president-elect and his team, not the country Republic of Ghana, in the case of Good Luck.
Oh, I see.
Good Luck, a former president. There's a sitting Nigerian president,
yes.
So he couldn't have been, but he's a statesman.
Yes.
Olusegun Obasanjo, he would have maybe on an African states, maybe an African Union, and then buy. But on his own, so by at the instance of the invitation from the president-elect.
But isn't it also surprising to see a coup d'etat president and as a military officer, in the case of Burkina Faso, so ultimately attended a fashion like this?
What is wrong with that?
Well, I mean, so why are you cool? He's not an elected president.
Why are you cool? Okay, stand there. You want to go to school?
Yes, I mean, why not?
He's a head of state.
Yes.
Head of state, former, informer, either coup or elected. He represents a certain country called Burkina Faso.
Yes, sure.
As a head of state.
Yes. Yes.
So, why was he invited? Ono, Pediasi Declaration 1, Declaration 2, Declaration 3. His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the Ghana and the ECOWAS. Declarations of Pediasi 1 and 2 and or turning the table of Burkina Faso. Say Omunka African Union ECOWAS hu biem.
I see.
Oma suspend you. Right?
Yes.
The declaration 1 not suspended Dumboya.
Yes.
Of Guinea.
Yes.
And the declaration 2 suspended Assimi Goïta of Mali. And the 3 suspended Damiba.
Okay.
Paul Henry Santiago Damiba, Burkina Faso.
Yes.
On the name Captain Traoré.
Yeah.
But then Captain Traoré ni Damibano, you can't call it that a coup d'etat. It was a change of regime.
Okay.
A palace coup.
Okay.
The boss no. And on any coup. And the coup the two Kabori. The two Kabori no.
And on those who two.
The two Kabori no. The junta's mission was that ye caught near mercenaries. Ye caught near you for Akokun, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, any and Sawad and Sadin. All the rebels and the terrorist group are all pretty Burkina. But omnia power new took Kabori ma Kabori Johnny Yeno. And for Henry Santiago Damiba, the ideals and philosophy ideologies are the kuno. Now so he was turning back to the French.
Oh, I see.
To behave the same way like Kabori was doing. So the boy also had a formation. Ibiasida, SMC1, SMC2, which is Kutu a champion, and then FWK a Kufu.
Yeah.
Do you understand me?
Yes.
It was something like that. Now, what I say, I didn't coup d'etat. Your friend is a coup d'etat leader, and I said,
yes.
Why military regime? Let me put it on records, and I've heard one of the reasons God may firm and the normal circumstances.
Yeah, sure.
Once throughout the electioneering year, I don't grant interviews. I try to stay neutral in some cases, but I think too much pollution in the air, so we must set it straight.
The record
we must set a lot of record straight in this particular studio.
Yes.
Weapon.
Yes.
The same seat. That is why I decided to come here and set this record straight, and that is how it is.
Okay.
The United Nations of the congregation of 178 countries is the International Democratic Forum, congregation of all democratic governments and the governments of the world, with Secretary General of the UN, our Tiho. How many of the African leaders in the 80s, in the 90s, we had as many as almost 24 African leaders who were all wearing military uniforms into the UN General Assembly chamber.
Wow.
Jerry Rawlings, back to back, 19-year rule, or UN General Assembly with uniform 11 years. Sani Abacha, or UN General Assembly with military uniform. Obasanjo, or UN General Assembly, all throughout his government, until say Buhari ni Idiagbon too, they were also going to the UN General Assembly. Majority as there.
Yeah, sure.
Now, Nigeria, Abacha, Olusegun Obasanjo, Buhari, Omunyina no mko UN General Assembly. What about Habre? What about Lassana Conte? What about Lamizana? Majority as there.
Yes.
Chad, Niger, Burkina Faso had a military leader who was Blaise Compaoré. Or UN General Assembly for how many times? At that time, Sierra Leone, Valentine Strassa, 25 years, with Sadj Musa, 23 years. They were going to UN General Assembly with military uniform.
Oh.
John Jerry Rawlings went with military uniform.
Yeah.
Sierra Leone had a military leader. Guinea had a military leader. Guinea-Bissau, they had military leader. Omar Bashir, Central African Republic, Bongi. All this at that time, Obiako UN General Assembly, plus what about the Latin Americans? What about the Caribbeans? Cuba, Fidel Castro, almost or UN General Assembly without, with any suit, or with military uniform. The observer to the UN General Assembly, yes, Arafat, or the uniform, and called uniform, the visitor Clinton, White House.
Oh.
Back to back military uniform.
I see.
There is nowhere all those professors and then lecturers, security experts, were a democratic president and didn't the military. Country we in our governance system, how many military leaders have ruled this country longer than democratic?
Yes, absolutely.
Yet Ghana every time is one of the countries in Africa that spoke on the UN podium. with a military uniform. So it is not a crime, it is not bad that the gentleman came here with his uniform. Ogel, Ogel of Gabon,
yes, Gabon,
he decided to wear. Ogel did not come because he was Central African. Ogel came because he's a friend, coach me, of President Mahama.
Oh.
So at the instance of the president, he came.
I see.
Don't forget, I have coordinated with Osei J of Ministry of Foreign Affairs,
yes,
former foreign minister,
yes,
when His Excellency Nana Dankwa was sworn in 7th January. The same way, I stood in as the liaison officer coordinating for the Republic of Ghana.
Oh, okay.
And then Osei J stood in for Ghana. We received him, the president. There are a lot of things we don't have time. So now let's come back to why Traoré's issue had become an issue.
Yes.
Ebi say Ukra gun.
Yes, or the two crashes.
What are we talking about here? We're talking about people are reading regular security intelligence. About cyber security near here. We are talking about diplomatic security. Diplomacy has its own intelligence. Diplomacy has its own security. And I'm putting on record, diplomacy is not about anybody's social illustrations.
Okay.
It's not about anybody's intelligence. It's not about anybody's assumption. It's not about anybody's presumptions. And it's not about anybody's feelings. Diplomacy is a principle. Diplomacy is a standard. Diplomacy deals with objectivity.
Okay.
Diplomacy deals with subjectivity.
Oh, it deals with objectivity and subjectivity.
So you must be subjective, a topical subject. And you must be an objective. That this is it.
Okay.
This object.
I see.
Yes. And it goes not with anybody's feelings. So what we saw, and it said, 6 January 2025, 11:59 p.m., Ghana Air swear in new parliament.
Yeah.
His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the regime comes to an end soon as the parliament of his republic, of his government is dissolved.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, sure.
So 11 p.m., 59 p.m., who mounts into the podium? The Ghana presidency goes back to the Chief Justice. Because parliament is dissolved.
No speaker.
No speaker.
Yes.
So within an hour, President of the Republic of Ghana, interim, at that time, Chief Justice. Chief Justice moved to be a president of Ghana until 1 hour or 1.5 hours. In between that time, no, office clerk, the clerk of the parliament, induction, roll call, and mentioning of the incoming members of parliament, swearing in those who are going to swear in on the 9th. Chief Justice, you know, never swear parliamentarians in. The speaker.
Yeah, sure.
So between that time, no, Ghana president, Chief Justice,
okay,
or swear in Speaker of Parliament, around 12:1 thereabout. I stand to be corrected on the time, but around 1:30. Ghana president goes back to Abang Babwin.
Yes, yes.
So Abang Babwin at that time becomes the Ghana president. From that time until 12:30 p.m. or 11:30 p.m. or 11 p.m. Sorry, a.m. Kopim say you best a new president.
Okay.
So this is the catch. Burkina Faso guy, 36-year-old boy, he's super intelligent. Who are the people sitting there? Tinubu was there.
Yeah, Tinubu was there, yeah.
ECOWAS has declared him not a member. They later wanted to warm themselves to him diplomatically. Wama Antiase, Oma Formu Sahel, into Adane Hoso. If the guy had come to Ghana around 11:52 p.m. on the seat, Nanajo can cage him in. I'm not saying that he was going to do that. But his security, they can withdraw and expose him to his enemies.
Oh, I see.
So he's not stupid.
I see.
He was not a friend of Ghana. He's a neighbor of Ghana.
Yeah.
But because ECOWAS declaration to reject him and move his country out of ECOWAS was originated from Accra. So he sees Ghana.
I don't meet his own man who had a Muslim.
Peduasi 1, 2, 3.
Oh, I see.
And the guy is not stupid.
Interesting.
And to make it sure, sir, the presidency was not in the hands of His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. I'm not saying, sir, Nana Beyini Bibi, but we're talking about a trust, faith, and salvation.
Interesting.
But what is it?
Interesting.
So I'm inside. What time did he come? Go and check.
Yeah, I remember because as at 7th in the morning, Namibisa omo protocols they said say afe na Burkina Faso president Eba.
So let me take you and the public through. In the time na Obamuno, Gabon leader and Obabe died.
Yeah.
He didn't have any problem.
Yeah, sure.
But when no time na Obamuno, one, there's what is called diplomatic protocol of a visiting head of state or visiting president. I want a security person or my bone or one person.
Yeah, security person.
So from someone when I'm interview or my bone person said. So we invite president head of state. No ababia your friend be diplomatic protocols.
Okay.
Security protocols. Entry protocols.
Okay.
Anything. The who host you no. And no obano or the checklist.
Okay. Okay.
The diplomatic checklist of the visit, and he said, may the head of state, head of the delegation, head of state, in this case, Captain Traoré, may the 19 soldiers armed, weapon carrying, a trainer the AK-47 4, yeah, the Brent 5, yeah, the Kafenikov 8, pistols, assault rifles, etc. 9.
I see.
And Nipa 13 and the Beshe military uniform, Ekura guns.
In the bag or exposed?
Exposed.
Oh, I see.
Send the protocols or the abanono.
Yes.
Then the team, the government or the president-elect that is hosting him, also saw your validation.
Okay.
Now, no, national security. And for that matter, military, you deal with the Air Force. You deal with near flight ban or deba. Or some the commercial jet, but in the case of the Burkina guy, cleverly, or the military jet nearby. So the military jet nearby, on team packet our commercial side.
Okay.
And so the flight in BC Air Force.
Oh.
Now Air Force was kind of flight, No, I sure said, once he's out of the aircraft, Obeja 10 or 15 military men manning or guiding the aircraft.
Oh.
No, my drop room or flight, Pilots, and then the co-pilot, and then the air hostess, Omusia, cabin crew Fonisia, straight away to hotel. Omokojo Mahomet. Then the military take over with the Ghana military. No more did that flight. Na Burkina Faso or Banisha Ukrano. Need to than in chain. Or short flights no copim send the president. Baba. Now, or your military leader and in the protocols, Ghana Army or Air Force have to make sure his security. President Mahama, His Excellency, have been a president. When your protocols, so the Baba Brez on your TV say he has shared with them, and he knows.
Yeah.
So the transition team might not know, but the president knows. Now, it's your norm or say, I'll go through principal streets of Accra Airport direct route. You don't just get up and say so
sure.
So your advanced protocol motorcade, obedi car scanning up to the Independence Square and make sure say Trotrobian says you cancel. Burkina Faso leader is spending 12 minutes from the Air Force. Opiano, ebi awanko VVIP launch.
I don't know Ghana security.
Ghana security ni ono na
the security. Okay.
Ono be chiro.
Oh, okay.
Into our kwa onko babia straight away Oba Independence Square.
Oh.
Now that is how he's going to enter. Oba, and as he did, Oba V-shaped security. Oh, na ohwe betu hu de wo kire. V-shaped security ohwe ya.
Oh, me Baba Diabaso.
Our soldiers bear 5, 6, 7 waha.
Yes.
Or bear 6, 7 waha.
Yes.
Obia with weapon.
Yes.
What they said.
Yes.
Then he blocked the V at the back. No abedi mfimfini, so he's the arrow man. And he had decided not to drop the car. Maybe a president,
Yeah, that's true.
Yes,
that's true.
Did he do
that's
that?
True. Yeah,
yes, it's part of his protocol.
Yes.
Into Oba walk 100 meters or 150 meters, so they can have clarity.
Interesting.
Why? Because our enemies.
Yeah.
Echo as enemy. Tinubu your enemy. Why? Because Tinubu French, pro-French.
Interesting.
His Excellency Nanado, pro-French, but only they know any picture anymore. It does not mean that we are afraid Say obi betima abeche no. Say the enya security officers ni bi aka say expert von bi say adentina okuretu adentina oyeden. One, and the public should notice. It could have been said on a Republic of Ghana government, not Ghana government, President Mahama. I agree. And they have scanned them, say, toy guns. But there is what is called presidential signature, and there's what is called presidential brand. What makes Traoré, his brand of dress, his coat of dress, his signature of dress. Wama President Mahama say, any security couple no manage president say, or the person babo no ho. Me no me nyanko say person could be a third person.
You need to mean impo.
And I make say person no kwa e bia bibia ni ammunition. Sure. But to send a signal that this is the way I go to places. President Pacho me no but measure hand gloves. Me no measure hand gloves. Meba this is the way I'm entering into the podium. Other presidents in United Kingdom mo besi e wani mo.
Yes, Off the other side.
The security protocol.
Yes.
And why any V-shaped entry. It is done by KGB.
I see.
To monitor and to guide Putin. No.
Interesting.
It is done by Israeli Mossad.
Wow.
Israel Prime Minister acquired Israel for a V-shape plus. Not Prime Minister initiative. Where covered or way baji. Now these are special forces are only snipers.
Okay.
They didn't come and joke. Aunt Naho, Emma Burkina, a country from almost day one of independence in 1960. Oma you coup d'etat, go and check Burkina democratic elected presidents.
Sure.
Oma you could become you coup 2 days. Obia a prime head of state 2 days, a 10 days, a 17 days. And to him say, now, before so Babana there been a coup. And when him say, Damiba, at Togo Heya. And they could harm him whilst he's coming or whilst he's leaving, not on the podium of the distance. And President had agreed with him, say, yes, Oba, Bra.
Okay.
Protocols on the President Mama, Nina Delia.
Oh, okay.
And Jim Pacho, the public listening.
Wow.
President Mama is not ordered by any law. Say on country be say no any Burkina Faso leader neighbor. He's aware already what the boy is coming. Obacha say will you right. Obaba bako left and bako bebo ni now. This is how I'm going to enter. Now people did not read meaning into how the boy went into the podium. Oba no force there are two things. We call it where diplomacy meets culture.
Yes, where diplomatic meets culture. Okay.
A conjuncture of the two. The boy exhibited the two. Very intelligent guy.
Yes.
He went to the podium and straight away to the vice president. And then the Burkina culture. How many tribal settings in Burkina? Half of Burkina population, they are Moshis. They have Fulani.
Okay.
They have the Gurinzi. They have the Mende. They have other tribes. He's a Moshi boy. In the Moshi culture, which we have the same thing in the Ghanaian North. So when you are going to greet a woman who can be your mother, you take off your cap.
Oh, I move video no enter honomo so that we can all relate to it. Yes.
And taking off your cap, you take off with the left. You don't take off the right. It's an insult. So he took off the cap with his left.
With his left. Wow.
And then stretch out. That is diplomacy with the right. And have a handshake with her. Please, uncle Hagen say any mommy and aunt and family member could we and you and Kobe Hagen. But do Hagen Kagana for Bacasa boy and a pet vice president.
Also,
Wako Hagen. And nobody another story. On my diplomatic handshake. Who was still the president of the Republic of Ghana is already declared. But then who had been the interim president?
That is
our no. He came here when Abambagwin was the president of Ghana. So he went to Abambagwin. But then, of course, I didn't know Chiobanu no. Or the Nichan said he's a head of state of a country. He's wearing his cap. This is how he dressed.
Okay.
So to Nichan Abambagwin is against diplomacy. He has lowered Burkina Faso to Ghana.
Oh.
And head of state. Vatican head of state is Pope, Holy See.
Wow.
On chain Ibrahim Traoré. On chain Bassirou Faye of Senegal. Every head of state or head of government, all of them are the same. With the same power. It doesn't matter so Russia president or Chinese president. In just ordinary Chinese share back. Whoever who be our kokro ya hwanu
or no your pet.
Or no your pet. In terms of the president age, there is a number.
But in the case of the vice president or your bad here, your culture.
Oh man, no culture. That's culture meeting diplomacy.
Interesting.
The boy existed.
Interesting.
Me, my whole, but I clap for him. I know what was going to happen.
But I was also standing right before, so I was observing, but that means
that is it.
Interesting.
Okochi New Year, no, Oko president, you know, Nani Chesheno. One Kasa, as President Mama will put it, is my young brother. So beautiful. I am a young brother, no. Say, Okochi President Mama, no, went to nature.
We went to nature because then a pet.
On any pet. Now another interesting scenario people were talking about Ghana Bono. Kwame Nkrumah kura walking stick. Secretary okura walking stick. No ajwa say.
Yes.
Mobutu Sese Seko okura walking stick. Kenneth Kaunda no okura walking stick. Eyadema no okura walking stick. Between you and I and all of us in the public listing, security experts muntie. Walking stick. A lot of them are guns. Omar Bashir and the walking stick, and it was a gun.
Oh, I see.
Sanya gun, cry walking stick, may God forbid, a crown or you win payam. Any true before so obey her or be armor, near this armor, then they dangerous. In Tinka, Traoré by and no cry walking sticker. And Kabakas and
dangerous weapon.
It's dangerous more than even the gun.
I see.
And nobody knows whether he had ammunition in the gun or it was a toy gun. I wanted the Yamo, near Timanya, professors, lecturers, Ghana security experts, Timika Mujina political science school, lecture and cry said it was even wrong. So the military uniform, bad democratically elected president swearing in. And I've told you and I've educated you, say, even the congregation of the United Nations General Assembly, they were wearing more than 35 military uniforms. Mexico for Georgescu of Romania. He was a military leader.
I see.
Or called UN chamber with military uniform. What about the Peru? What about the Ecuador? What about El Salvador? What about the Colombiana? What about Papua New Guinea? All of them were military leaders in the 90s, etc. But they come to the UN chamber with military uniform. So please, let's get it clear. So I'm crying out, diplomacy, I'm not to a church. So lecture biaba. No Baba Kachira will say democratically elected president, you have military uniform coach and catch and say UN Secretary General you the military uniform chairman.
I see.
I've cleared that part of it.
Yeah, sure.
So the guy came.
No, but before you proceed, Mami who said this same scenario, yeka wasem ebiesi dana.
Say Obi president Bikra Kwachia Obi.
Yes.
Now you be it is even extreme for anybody to imagine. It's extreme.
Because President Kufuor, in the case of President Kufuor and President Bush.
Yes. Remember how?
Okay.
President Bush visit to President Kufuor. I did.
Okay.
Some works.
Oh, okay.
Protocols at the airport.
Yes.
I'm
interested because related to this,
President Kufuor is alive. Yes, sir, American for checklist. And no protocol, diplomatic protocols. Diplomatic protocols have said is not about any ordinary security intelligence. The diplomatic protocols is something I've said is based on principles and agreements. Or the checklist by America for the old reading what are some of them? President Kufuor share George Bush. That one was soaking. Or call a culture assembly. Or the next US or bar. Radar control, flight, radar control. America for take over. Munko Ghana Civil Aviation go.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
How?
2 hours before the flight of US President Obama, Clinton, Bush, Ebesa Ghana, within 2 hours, they will instruct the country Ghana as part of the protocol agreement. Say, yeah, my plane, there, my Ghana airspace.
Wow.
And then the West Africa, Ghana, your radar control, no quite there. Jeremy Yardie, Ghana for Yardie. Your radar control intimi kwa kudu Lagos. Nigeria for the intimi do her. You radar control twem Ouagadougou.
I see.
A twem Côte d'Ivoire. In America for na betena soro ho, making sure said there's a total clearance in the air. President Kufuor sign and I won't sign it. Minua kakre here no sign it checklist one. No take it. Oba or the 2 aircraft, 1 backup. President India need the second to land. Okay. But the first one to land in the Air Force backup. But Obetiasiana no take it. Oba Air Force say nampesu ye America before so obebahano now the Marines about 3 months ahead of the visit and obedi okrumha aye exercise security exercise akombu ye for ye yini ye airport wo ba bia omu wie ye no maba hotels or high buildings across no omaka so mbaji including the tower of the airport.
Oh,
only yes I wie ye no part of the agreements. He's no more president, so I can speak on the subject. So if it was a president, President Kufuor giving in. It is called agreement diplomatic, agreements of diplomacy. What he has said, do visit, also of the visit, agreements of the visit. Meba or Castle Osu. America Judy President Kufuor nearby name the security protocols. They say United States President or African country. Enye UK no ko enye Germany enye ya bia omojuom settings ni di no e bia na President Kufuor kura nim and say ya obi meham ye mienu no we will scan the executive wing and the offices, so the president have to step out from his office.
Oh,
near move and krama na kum.
How? Why?
Service dogs.
Why?
Or scanning for the for omo nyina.
President it's your no office now or receive another president from outside. Is he a movie president now or no host president in the office? Na camera kwa scan ho.
When I'm say when delay what is called emotions. Diplomacy has got nothing to do with emotions.
Interesting. I mean,
diplomacy has got nothing to do with feelings. Diplomacy has nothing to do with social illustration. They all kind of a combination of social illustrations and emotions.
Interesting.
And then what you call it expectations. Diplomacy has got no expectations. We are talking about subject, object, principle, and then standard practice. Do you and a friend standard practice? Also, President Kufuor me ba de bia no bibi kwa no bi power you bibi. Enti agie ni say me enu na be safe. Kodwom pianim office, come on, get out. Obi abepie, yes can obi a.
Wow.
Executive wing bia na nkrama na ba out. No ma be certify. O wa sheki the service commander of the dogs. Akre ansa na president ko say uji so mu di agro. Omu wie ye no 2 days visit. Abrabo George Bush called one country President Kufuor. Or me offer. Na mumisa ne say George Bush called part of the protocols I signing here no. Na obia ntimi mfa na ni hwe the direction of President Bush and President Kufuor right from the VVIP launch.
Oh, why?
That time so what you say immigration boss near friend Matthias, he was there.
Okay.
Colonel, the coordinator, security coordinator of Ghana Aviation International Airport, Kotoka. I entered, but I'm the security. Let's get the fuck out of here. Come on, get out. Sergeant on duty, no control. Oma take over Ghana VVIP. What did we do? Obia ojina hobia, mo journalists who check it, mo search. Journalists, they don't go. Anyaka tipa truck and the DC tamak no so yes scanning wo mu cameras you and the dome nyina kini KG wo mu and the Marines twa wo mu hia. They were the people who were having a site. President Kufuor and the ministers so dome ko nyina no everybody has to turn around. President and his wife, Bush and his wife, they were the people working on the red carpet. Time now where mu na oba besini akofa ne kind the beast before he goes to join the aircraft na Ghana Culture Assembly omo bokete eno na dey receive no problem ama all corner ye bokete no
edija ne kwan
no na US Army young boy okọ ba bi bokete no they spend music for coordinator a friend Igbo apia or ho am friend Musa say me say because I was there omo bonyum nkran ne sa gagagagagagagagre na kwa no kama no say they have to scan the drums. Na kama na ko am say drums no say Bush bantum ko to twene na yamono new drums e dey na abo na mpeke cent ni ye abo ni shake drum be 2 US Army or fight train and what this car womb say. Bra say you know put you train too. Get a 4 hour here. Move from training free uncle.
Interesting.
It was part and agreements of the protocols. Said they make sure say Omo yomo juma. Almost say omo now some security aspects then they are no officer grab chroma now. You don't know about security, you don't know diplomatic security, diplomatic intelligence, don't talk. Now I tell you, and when him dey buy and obia share outside only journalists kakra na akeju omo and omjia no mo hwe. Even George Bush, President Kufuor no kwai mumusa President Mama mumusa former president bia o belts red carpet rubber bia o the host nkwa udu udu a no agina ho na watene Bush also no nye diplomatic.
Yeah, sure.
And you know onante basabasa.
Yeah.
The coordinator was a sergeant. Or chair President Kufuor we no dey know na or shato no stand there Mr. President. No agina ho because we State Department they are monitoring him from America and we agina ho and we be walking in. American president does not go in front of the car to sit. You go through the back.
Okay.
Into a call back, you know. Ujinawa on Tinaka and Munku be done. Some said, "Aha, will be a bre, na president na. Always no more than who dare you, American." Omo mani jinaho. Then the coordinator through his ears, State Department is watching. 1, 2, 3 instructions. Bush Tinaka and Muno so Muno channel. Or the inside na pump mu akana shem.
Oh.
Otia ne ka anim yia na bisin 2 year no eko tamak no enya no president Kufuor enya na nkoju clean ano ka ne na di ni free ho na de no koe into a full staircase ni wia no agina soro wa wevu enu ko wevu na chakra anyom be kan inside to form push him in. Wow. Afa obi atimi dan ani amafo agina ho be 45 minutes na ni hwa dan. Do you understand what is called diplomatic protocol?
Papa,
I mean that's a mincho. When Nanado swearing in,
yeah,
the Gabonese president by on record, His Excellency Nanado government and inviting Odimba Omabongo. When we had the protocols, the checklist, any agreements, you know, I did the Gabon part, or say the Ghana part.
Oh, okay.
The president was built to go and rest from airport. Our Kempiski,
okay.
But now Gabonese students, because no free election then chair. No position for Jean-Pierre and Chinese in or contesting. All the students are big good Kempiski, ever discrediting the presence, and I picked that intelligence. So we decided not to bring the president to Kempiski for that humiliation. I, coach me and Axel Sergey, I took Prestige apartments, opposite Korea Embassy at the back of police headquarters. A president, I'm Kwaji house, and I ground floor. And from airport now, arrival ceremony in New Year, no, straight away, we catch a motor rider no, near decided, and we informed the national security, we informed the Presidential Protection Force. Say Gabonese president in our Kempiski Bayam Fanenko. This is why we are going, so they should be on alert. Straight away, I didn't call Prestige. What did they mention? Now, from Prestige, straight away we are bringing him to the podium. We are podium now. Once the president is showing in we are International Conference Center, no receive, no tete-a-tete, another proper official handshake, no more wishing well.
Sure.
Then agreement with Ghana and what I signed was that President Onna, 2 from the
Onna Ghana,
Derby, Onna, the security coordinator was a Chinese man. Okachams Al, on Dopa is usually on Valley, on the party. They are not sleeping here, they will go. So that one was known. We communicate to the Ghana government, say Gabonese government will seek a passage after greeting the president post swearing in. Into any year, no. The co-chair president in Uyeno back into his car. We have the detailed other cars, convoy cars in the line straight away. Or the 30 contingent and the Yadeno Equine Jan. These are certain protocols, sir. It has nothing to do with anybody who claims to be a cyber security expert. No. Ambajo Uchemi. Obiako, Nigeria, Aso Rock to visit, to go to Nigerian presidency. It's a lot of women.
Yeah.
What bones woman? The kind of processes that you go, the kind of security tubes I be going through. Yani adini her birthday party cry near president no maba no abesa because it's a calm country, it's a peaceful country.
Yeah, sure.
It's me. Not that was standing no. So be baha. Now ba say enya country ni na invite no. Traoré nya Ghana na invite no. President Mahama na invite no. He was coming because of President Mahama.
Yeah.
He didn't come because of Republic of Ghana. Into a friend. And President Mahama had assured, say, also establish diplomatic relations, which is the very thing. On pay, ni neighbors so no more problems. Also, in one union, problem or how solve because our trade bilateral and our culture, yeah, our tribal settings, you know, in our border. Majority we spoken about President Kufuor name Edison. Obama Bahano, Oko Cape Coast. So be who the entourage or the Cape Coast. Now American soldiers nearby no. Why no own create you? Marine for no ebi okroma deda, but we don't buy in they were gun wielding army marines. Oh. And no move president no. Now mention Obama buy among Holiday Inn Hotel. Me, I say things and give references so that you can check. Omuba and Holiday Inn Hotel, that was camouflage place where the president was supposed to sleep.
Oh.
A dummy place.
I see.
But no in a safe house.
Oh, okay.
They can't safe house. We'll be aware, you know.
Yeah,
you understand?
Sure.
No in a safe house, American phone him so better.
Oh, okay.
Do you get it?
But now you're Holiday Inn.
No Holiday Inn Hotel. Floor 1, floor 2, floor 3, up to 5th floor. Room no 509. That also they gave Americans gave to Ghana. Say room imagine the Obama no 509 ho no koda. Monko Holiday Inn Hotel go business or die. Obeda ho. Oba no the whole Holiday Inn Hotel so you know omo 5. And no J
even when he's not sleeping there.
Oh, so we don't miss Obabeda. They create the dummy. And no J first floor. And no J second floor. No dey nkrama na gumu. Nkrama. America's sniffer dogs. Service security dogs, FBI, CIA, come and be about FBI agent, a CIA agent, a be a SSS, state security agents. Omunina baby, Omun number that anymore, or first second floor, and no seal of the staircase, and no seal of the elevator up to the 5th floor.
Interesting.
And then they put Ghana national security, and of course some of them were BNIs to mix up with them. Also to have a blend of the local settings.
Yeah, sure.
The American still are on traso. In Ghana security ko ade no be ma no. O mesa scan o pocket. Asa no no ko post.
E chinanko.
Wa ma uncrate you.
We be the truth.
O ma uncrate you.
Wow.
Obama, me so mo je dan Holiday Inn Hotel. 2 floors no man krama dem. E no mo je top. Until say American president obey free the airspace of Ghana. And so sniper a phone kwan no omu free ho. Radar control no omu free ho. They make sure that the president is out of the airspace of Ghana. And so no marines in omu radar control a monitors no. And so no omu see from that another president no call. Then they have the other way omu so be follow no.
I see.
That is how the security protocols and then the intelligence protocols. So there's a difference between diplomatic intelligence protocols and then ordinary security protocols. These are what and then it's not about somebody's own expectations. That's what they say.
Yes. Matthias, but during the swearing-in ceremony,
yes,
you could observe after so Kokuchia Ibrahim Kokuchia I don't know if I should call the then president or
already a president of Ghana.
No, me can't speaker.
Yes.
Speaker Nyadaje Church Burkina where the church Ghana for said they are men of brave men and what have you.
So, no,
yes, so Now, other countries were Musa. And all the other 21 heads of states now would say the other side. And I could see, say, Ibrahim Ukono, I don't recall so Chiaomo. He didn't shake hands with them.
The ECOWAS leaders.
Yes.
The African Union. They claim to have a problem with the boy because a coup, but he's not the only person to have staged a coup.
Oh, okay.
And you can't say no more problem. There is what is called maybe irregular friendship. And our boy in Subai, and he's concentrating on his country. He's only been out to Russia and been to Ghana.
Oh.
And you know, on you know about business. Well, he's a serious person. So this is what the guy came in. He came in with energy.
Yes.
He came in with charisma. He came in with diplomatic intelligence. Very resolute. Very respectful. But then he came in as a soldier. That's what they said.
Yeah, sure.
So you saw him say he's very energetic. Oh yeah, very enthusiastic about what he's doing. Very, very smart on what he's doing. And then he carried the country Burkina and the youthful exuberance and the expectations of Burkina who were watching him. So he goes into any other country with the same bravery.
Oh, I see. I see.
And that is what I said.
I see.
The signature. Go ahead.
And unfortunately, V-shape Nana Okano.
Yes.
I could see in the military, no. Tama no tiho crowd.
Yes.
Now ebinumujina one side and the other side.
That is you. That one you call it. When you they gave him U-shape.
Oh.
I was saying no team
yeah, sure.
Until they cover the back.
Oh, okay.
No
okay.
man
So they been so actually.
Yes, of course. The U-shape. They will they themselves. They don't go ma so mba be hwe eyi. Oma share ceremony ni bi.
And they were carrying bags. They have
detonators.
Wow.
They have detonators. Bag look as to say other president to another bag no. Yeah. They be unaccountable impress. Ebu also so. Ebu the BP drugs. They call us. Cholesterol drug guru no. Onu me prostate drug. Onu cholesterol. The BP guru na that dey senti. Na be campaign bag ne kura no. Edro kura. What is the mention?
But quite interesting to know. They moving away from the story in.
Yes, enti said the mekan no. Minim say Samri, you are very happy to get access to all this information. On say information coach you call nyina no. Eba ne security ho. Eba no enema efa Ghana the neighboring countries. In fact, Farouk Wahab ayobia adwuma bobo papa and utie man we ya me say every single minute bi abepeso betin bio because utie nsem a owura no waka oh na chese owura no eye nipa sebi onimde ne nadwemu so aye den abobio. In fact Yankopon Ishra no for all this brilliant and exceptional and intelligent educational any informational or the amayo. It is said your kind some of the political scientists na die omugina omu na enyo mu na eyo mofuro omu nsua die ni ye. To see how confidently this man is giving it back to back. How confidently na okasa you can attest to the fact say urewi will be a sebi ebano international diplomacy he is really the consultant what you say into international diplomatic consultant in fact upe adia efa amana hodo so especially Africa upe bibia efa ho coup democracy monarchy any the efa amamu ho a Farouk Al-Wahab the expert of it, and he has really shown us that he is an expert of when it comes to diplomacy, when it comes to international diplomacy. And I really appreciate his work and I really admire him. In fact, I love how he stepped out and I say he came out with every single word that he uttered. In fact, Nyankopon Aisha no man na yentimi and witness more of all this brilliant and intelligent information and educational or the my de biano. Enti mu ana mo ka se oh security dia den obi a waye coup dia den na otimi kwacha president me crowd. At some point in time I was having some battering and as I was having some examining be in my head say oh is it then na okochia vice president a oro ni che na the president na nkasa wahye ni che and the speaker no sana ewo cultural meaning they said odi kankan that is their culture eyo mu culture a omo ye den omo dis obi bia osen oba bia obetimi ayo maame no you have the right to what either you are wearing cap or you have to remove it. And that is exceptional and that is the most educated year this year means etimiaka. In fact me am the news but we education we very deep and I really love it. And I'm praying, say, everybody who watched this video, and I say, everyone who is watching this video will admire and also would get the correct information as I've gotten. Because, in fact, many are papa, and I'm super proud of that man. Say, wait me, am I that information? No? Because, a lot of knowledge and when you party into us, what I say, when you party a lot of knowledge. And Tinyankopon Eshra. It is an kind I didn't a jabo papa. See, this is this inauguration no, in this fourth republic. No, this is the biggest one. This is the biggest inauguration under this fourth republic. And of course, you could see say a biggest inauguration because over how things were done, over how the heads of states of different sub-regions, country, neighboring country, even Tinubu Ejane na in federal state of Nigeria, Hobet Nahanum, Sebi Tinubu Nia Hodin Bibri. I think that this year will be 80 years. Obejana Honum Nawaba, witness the swearing in of Muhammad here. Now you could see, say, this country is blessed and Ubehu say Ubia Waye Coup. A duty Al-Wahab in Samokana that Ibrahim Traoré, Traoré, Negano. In fact, Oshana, since Oye Kubono, he has been in 2 different countries. That is Russia and what? Ghana. And Oye Kupu, we are in so to 2 coin be brave because Ubabane were chashi. That is diplomacy. Into where I am young. Oye Kup now, yes, oh, minimum control, me quaba me yes, yambrano. Na wechiaiden ashe said ye ewiaye ni sana insuso aye kama nti no as to say the man no eba Ghana with all his nkrofo ni eyini de no tum say Ghana we are blessed and John the Mani Mahama is one of the most gifts God has given to us in this 2025 and we are praying and hoping say Mahama will come out with a lot of impactful projects and Ghanaians will be happy. The ebo humpire say Ghana for any beji, na Ghana for any jumaye, na Ghana for sebi. Ahuchere any or how near mania e wahano. As what miati, ne bibiati me akoso wana. Enti ye de yanko pasi. We thank God for life. We thank God say yura what do you call it? Farouk Al-Wahab, what me am I that kind of very impactful education. Inti Akufado de Ebeka na asem Akufado de ebi obiano he should bow down his head in shame because ono ankasa wo hu sesese no bibi wo ho ono ankasa wo hu sesese tumi ye de hye wo nsa you need to be very careful ye de tumi hye wo nsa e wo se wo ye den wo ye very careful with it and ye Akufo Addo ebetimi attest to the fact say senka oba bio in 2016 ka bre esen akonechi a enka Ghana for the tumi mana enka kokoti ene eye akakabensem enka obetwa so me na meka che one Akufo Addo ho embo chen bibia yeti kurom hani tumi asesa not less than even a week and ne pepepe today is exactly week and tumi sesa ye but in stati wa wokusi no week now so enkofo abuburu and the perpetrators okay me cast perpetrators those who did that they have boldly come out and say they have the mobunu ya ozi ya bunu eh say bi enkwasi ade and oyeye no Ghana until that can you can relate to say Mahama also you be papa and say Ghana for the anusi ho a obembo kurom ha Yankopon hira me ma me che ba for me ye sure say the program why enjoy a lot Yankopon hira papa eri de bia support any how we produce mega what you say virtually ni Yankopon hira sa so na me ma me roye bi Yankopon hira me ma me roye bi UK any obi bia hwe mega TV no in fact I salute you macro bye bye.